Ok, để bắt đầu cái buổi nói chuyện nhé, thì tôi muốn nói tôi bắt tắt thôi. Cái công việc của tôi thì tôi là tư vấn cao cấp cho nhiều dự án EB5, và cái dự án mới nhất mà chúng ta đã làm việc là dự án của Texas Research Center. Chúng ta đã làm việc rất là tốt, nhất là qua các đại diện của tôi, và cái dự án coi như là đã hoàn tất rồi. Thì trong cái lúc mà dự án hoàn tất rồi đó, thì tôi muốn tìm cái dự án nào mà nó có cái chất lượng cao về vấn đề di trú, cũng như là về vấn đề tài chính, cũng như cái mức độ là tin cậy. Thì tôi đi thăm một số dự án từ Bắc Cali, San Jose, Oakland, xuống tận dưới Nam Cali, rồi qua Albuquerque và ngay tại Houston nữa. Thì cái dự án tôi thấy là nó đạt được tất cả những cái tiêu chuẩn về đầu tư EB5, bảo đảm cho cái nhà đầu tư cái sự an toàn tối đa, sự rủi ro tối thiểu. Là cái dự án Escaya của tập đoàn Homefed và Chris. Thì hôm nay tôi rất là hân hạnh giới thiệu Chris Fauger và dự án Escaya cho các vị ở đây là những nhà đầu tư tương lai, hoặc là những đại diện, đại lý. Đó là căn bản là cái điều tôi muốn hôm nay. Thành ra để bắt đầu, tôi xin mời Chris lên đi trình bày về dự án Escaya, giới thiệu về mình.
San Diego, California, with its beautiful beaches, world-famous golf courses, outstanding universities, tourist attractions, wide range of outdoor activities, and a unique, relaxed atmosphere with near-perfect weather. It is no wonder San Diego is recognized as one of the most desirable places for people to live. HomeFed, a public real estate company based in San Diego, is pleased to offer EB5 investors an opportunity to invest in our next development project, Escaya. Escaya is a 450-acre master planned community located in South San Diego County. Escaya is within the larger master planned community of Otay Ranch. Otay Ranch has a long history of success and has been the best-selling community in the San Diego region for the last 17 years. The area has excellent schools, attractive housing, convenient shopping, and is only 15 miles from downtown San Diego. Escaya, the next phase of Otay Ranch, is a master-planned community with 992 single-family homes and townhomes, neighborhood-serving retail, 275 apartments, office buildings, a new elementary school, a park, and a resort-style swim club. Grading started in February 2016, and home building will begin in early 2017. The homes, which will be initially priced from $375,000 to $650,000, will be built in partnership with 3 of the largest and most reputable home builders in America: Brookfield Residential, Cal Atlantic Homes, Shea Homes. The 275 apartments and retail will be built by HomeFed, while the office building land will be sold to an outside office building developer. HomeFed is offering a unique EB5 structure to investors. In addition to the large amount of equity relative to the EB5 loan, the EB5 loan will receive a first-position trust deed on HomeFed's other development land, such that the loan is fully collateralized. HomeFed is the largest residential developer in the San Diego region, with a long history of developing award-winning master-planned communities, including San Elijo Hills, a 2,000-acre master plan that was awarded Master Plan Community of the Year in 2003. HomeFed has projects across the country, The company specializes in land acquisition, obtaining government approvals, and constructing the infrastructure necessary for residential and commercial development. A conservative company with a debt-to-equity ratio of only 0.26. HomeFed publicly traded under the stock ticker HOFD with readily accessible financial statements from the Securities and Exchange Commission. HomeFed's largest shareholder is Leucadia National Corporation, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker LUK. HomeFed is proud to take part in the EB5 program. Escaya's remarkable location, solid financial structure, and experienced sponsor provide EB5 participants with a unique opportunity and confidence in their investment.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. I'm very happy to be back in Vietnam. With EB5 projects, there are many EB5 projects on the market, and when we came into the space, it was very crowded, and so we wanted to structure a project that would be well received and that would help agents and their clients, our EB5 partners, achieve the two things that they desired: to get their green card and to get their capital back. So tonight I'd like to tell you about our project and how we structured it to achieve those two objectives, so that you know that you or your client will obtain your green card, that you'll be successful, and that you'll get your money back at the end of the term. My name is Chris Folger, and I'm the president of HomeFed Corporation. HomeFed is a public company. We are based in San Diego, California, and our primary business is master plan communities, is developing master plan communities. What that means is we buy large tracts of land, we get all of the approvals required from the government, and then we do all of the horizontal improvements, the roads, the utilities, so that other developers can come in and build homes and businesses. We've been in business for more than 25 years, and we're majority owned by a very large public company traded on the New York Stock Exchange called Leucadia National. Over our history, we've won many awards for our projects. And these are our current projects that we own across the country. On the East Coast, from Maine and New York, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, and then many projects in California. But our corporate headquarters is in San Diego, California, and that's where the project I'd like to talk to you today about, Escaya, is located. These are pictures of some of the projects that we currently own. A large office building and hotel in Brooklyn, New York, a shopping mall in Myrtle Beach, master plan communities in Florida, South Carolina, Virginia, and California. This one is one we're especially proud of. This is in North San Diego County. It's just finishing up. It's 3,400 homes, and it was awarded Master Plan Community of the Year for all of the United States. So we're very proud of that. Our next project is Escaya, and this is our EB5 project. This is an artist rendering of the town center with retail and apartments above it. Now, Escaya is located in San Diego. San Diego is one of the big three markets in California. The other cities are Los Angeles and San Francisco. San Diego is about 2 hours south of Los Angeles and is an international tourist destination and is known for having the best weather in the United States. It has wonderful research institutions and universities, as well as tourist attractions like Legoland and SeaWorld. This is Escaya in relation to downtown San Diego. It's only 15 miles. It's a very short commute for workers to go to downtown. Escaya is part of the Otay Ranch Master Plan. Otay Ranch has been the best-selling community in San Diego for the last almost 20 years. It's an established area with great schools, convenient shopping, and easy access to jobs. Otay Ranch was approved for over 30,000 homes. HomeFed owns the last 13,000 homes that will be developed in Otay Ranch. This is the largest development going on in San Diego County. It took nearly 20 years to get the approvals from the government, but we now have all approvals for all 13,000 homes. Having these approvals makes the land very valuable. So what is in the Village of Ascaya? It consists of 990 for-sale homes, 275 apartments with retail, office buildings, a new school, a city park, and homes originally started at $350,000 with increasing prices. They're now in the low 400s. And to partner with us on this, to build the actual homes, we partnered with 3 of the best builders in America, Brookfield, Cal Atlantic, and Shea. Once HomeFed is done with all of the land work, getting the lots ready and the utilities ready, Brookfield, Cal Atlantic, and Shea come in and build the home and sell the home in partnership with HomeFed. So the EB5 program is a $500,000 investment. So ours is the same as others. It's a 5-year loan with 2 one-year options. And one of the interesting things about ours is the loan term started last September. So it's almost a year into it. The loan term started with our first draw, and our first draw was in September of last year. As you know, EB5 is a jobs-based immigration program. The government says if you invest your money and create 10 jobs, you can qualify for a green card. So it's very important that you have a project that generates a lot of jobs to create a cushion. Instead of generating 10 jobs per investor, ours generates 15. 98% of the jobs that our project creates are direct or indirect jobs. They're construction jobs. And why that's important is at the end of your conditional green card period, when you go to the government, all you have to do is show that the developer spent the money. You don't have to count jobs. In order to qualify, one just has to spend the money. And our project has already started. We have already started creating those jobs. So in addition to the large buffer, by creating those jobs, we help eliminate one of the risks that EB5 investors have. I think this slide is the most important one I will show you today. The total project costs for Ascaya are over $600 million. 79% of that money is provided by the developer. Only 21%, or $125 million, is EB5 money. There is no bank loan standing in front of EB5 security. So in addition to the large amount of equity that the developer is putting in, we're also providing EB5 investors with a first position trust deed. What this means is with our future development land that already has the approvals, a trust deed would be recorded with the government. We could not sell or develop that land until EB5 investors are repaid in full. It's the safest position to be in, and it's the position the banks demand to be in when they're part of the deal. So because of the low leverage, one of the advantages to having a very small amount of debt relative to equity is there's a tremendous amount of cash flow available to repay a relatively small EB5 loan. So you can see here there's almost 4 times the amount of cash flow needed to repay the loan. Now, the project has received its I-924 exemplar approval. What this means is we have given all of our documents to the government, and the government has approved this project. It speeds up the review process for when an EB5 investor is putting their money. The government has already looked at the documents and already approved the project, so they just need to review the information from the individual applying. This is a picture of the site from just a few weeks ago. You can see a tremendous amount of work has been done. Now, our project utilizes a bridge loan structure. What that means is HomeFed advances all of the money into the project first. We didn't need to wait for the EB5 money. As EB5 money comes in, it will reimburse HomeFed for a portion of our capital. But in the meantime, the project moves forward and jobs are created. More pictures of the school site, the park site, and the the mixed-use retail and apartment site that's under construction. These are part of the model complexes, 27 model homes. And here's the current pricing. Current pricing is from $400,000 to now a little over $800,000. Of the 990 homes for sale, we've released just about 400, and 330 have sold. California and San Diego in particular has a shortage of housing, so there's great demand for this housing. This is the project timeline. We purchased this portion of the land in 2015 for $150 million. We started grading in February of 2016, and the models were ready in June of 2017, 1 year ago. Since that time, we've sold over 300 homes, and we expect all of the homes will be sold in another 2 years, and we'll have the rest of the entire project done about 4 years from today. And this sums up what I think are the strengths of our project. Number one, the developer believes in this project, so much so that we're putting 79% of the project capital is our own. Instead of 10 jobs, our project creates 15 jobs per investor, a very large buffer, and because of the bridge loan structure, we've already got a jump start on those jobs. They're being created right now for our investors. And our EB5 partners will have a first trustee. They'll be in the most secure position. And with the low leverage, there's a tremendous amount of cash flow repaid from home sales and other land sales to repay the EB5 loan. And finally, there's the comfort of doing business with a public company that's been in business for more than 20 years. Financial statements and project updates can be found on the Government Securities and Exchange Commission website, and it provides great transparency for you and investors to know how the project is going. And these are just a list of other people involved in the project, our project attorneys and project consultants. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to answering any questions you have and speaking directly with you about Ascaya and the EB5 program. Thank you.
The wonderful presentation, very informative. Tôi đề nghị là cái thời giờ mình không có nhiều đó, thành ra để mình mời luật sư Nikolai để trình bày về vấn đề EB5 rất là quan trọng liên hệ đến vấn đề đầu tư. Thì sau đó mình trong cái lúc mà buổi tối mình sẽ có cái vấn đề trả lời câu hỏi. Nikolai, please come.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nikolai Henriksen. I am the managing partner of Miller Mayer's operation in Asia, and I'm delighted to be here tonight to talk to you about EB5 law and immigration. I'm delighted in particular to be in Ho Chi Minh City. I have just recently relocated here after living in Shanghai for the last 4 years. And so far I have to say I prefer the hospitality and the food in Ho Chi Minh City. You heard from Chris about the specific investment opportunity. I am not an investment advisor, so I won't be talking about that. Instead, I'm going to focus on the immigration risks of this project. I'm going to give you a short introduction to who Miller Mayer is, talk a little bit about the project and the EB5 process, and then talk about a couple of issues that are important in EB5. So Miller Mayer was founded in 1985. We've been around for a very long time. We do all sorts of immigration, both family. We're best known, though, I think, internationally for the work that we've done in EB5. We've been involved in EB5 since the program started, and I think these numbers demonstrate our position in the EB5 industry. We've filed almost 6,000 I-526 petitions. We have an approval rate of 99.7% for our I-526 petitions. For the petitions that we filed for Vietnamese investors, I'm happy to say we have a 100%. Now, in addition to representing individual investors in their I-526 petition and the EB5 process, we also represent project developers. And for those clients, we have helped them raise to date almost $3 billion in EB5 equity. Steve Yale is one of the partners at Miller Mayer. and probably one of the most famous immigration attorneys in the United States. In addition to working at Miller Mayer, he's a professor of law at Cornell University, which is one of the best universities in the United States. My partner Carolyn Lee is also quite accomplished and well known in the EB-5 industry. She's the current chair of the AILA, American Immigration Lawyers Association EB-5 committee. She's serving her second year as chair or head of that committee. Miller Mayer lawyers have been recognized by many organizations, Who's Who Legal, Best Lawyers, and Super Lawyers. We are also regularly quoted in major news outlets. In particular, as I mentioned, my colleague Steve Allaire is a sought-after authority on immigration matters and EB-5 law. If you Google his name, you'll see him mentioned in major publications like this 2 or 3 times a week. So let me switch gears now and talk a little bit about the EB-5 process, and specifically about the immigration risk components associated with the Ascaya project. So the first step in the process is filing an I-526 petition with the USCIS. That I-526 petition has 2 components to it. One is information about the project that you're investing in, or your clients are investing in, and 2 is information about how that individual obtained the money to make the investment. So those are the 2 immigration risks of the I-526 petition. Both of those things have to be approved by the government in order for them to approve the I-526 petition. Now, you heard that this project has already received an I-924 approval. And what that means is that the U.S. government has determined that the project complies with EB-5 law. So in terms of that immigration risk to the I-526, it doesn't exist. That then leaves the only remaining risk being the source of funds. We have to show that the source of funds being invested has been lawfully earned. And you saw our success rate on source of funds submissions and I-526 submissions generally at almost 100%. So I think I can safely say we have the expertise to significantly mitigate that risk for you. Now, after the I-526 is approved, when a visa becomes available, clients can take the second step in the process and obtain a travel visa from the U.S. consulate. They then fly to the United States, and when they land, their visa and passport is stamped. And at that moment in time, they become conditional permanent residents. Later, they'll get their green card in the mail, and it'll have that same date on their green card. And that date is important because that date determines when the final step in the immigration process occurs, and that is filing an I-829 petition to remove the conditions on the green card. So what is the immigration risk on the I-829 petition? Well, you have to show 2 things. You have to show that your investment hasn't been paid back. That's easy enough. And most importantly, you have to show that the jobs have been created for you as an investor. That's 10 jobs. And you've heard the job creation projections for this project already. I submit that those are very strong and conservative, and I believe that very high degree of likelihood that they would satisfy the 829, so that risk is very small. So what everybody is talking about in EB-5 is what's going to happen on September 30th. As you may know, the U.S. Congress has been thinking of making changes to the EB-5 program for a very long time. In fact, since June 2015, various legislative proposals have been considered, but ultimately Congress was unable to agree on any. The latest action was that on March 23rd, the program was extended until September 30th of this year. After September 30th, or rather before September 30th, Congress must take action to extend the program. So what will those changes look like? Will those changes happen? Those are questions, but I think I can provide a little bit of guidance. The EB-5 program has been around since 1990, and since that time, the investment amount hasn't gone up at all. So Congress is very focused on increasing the investment amount. The latest draft legislation that we reviewed contemplated an increase of the current 500,000 amount up to 925,000, almost double. And the higher amount, which is currently $1 million, would have a very modest increase, only up to $1,025,000. Now, the USCIS has the authority itself to make changes to the EB-5 program, and in fact, they have proposed changes. They contemplate a price increase of $1.35 million for the lower investment amount, all the way up to $1.85 million for the higher investment amount. Now, I don't think that the USCIS regulations will be adopted. They're actually scheduled to take effect in August. I don't think that is likely to happen. It is certainly possible, though, that Congress enacts new law. Right now, if you follow American politics, you know that immigration and things in Washington are a little difficult. So whether legislation ultimately passes is something we don't know for sure. But it is certainly possible that the price goes up, and if somebody is interested in EB-5, I would certainly counsel them to invest before September 30th to be safe if they're going to go forward anyway. Now, the other big issue in EB-5, and particularly a new issue in Vietnam, is retrogression. So you may be aware that in the EB-5 category, there are 10,000 visas available every year. And if any one country exceeds 7% of those visas, that country can be subject to retrogression. Now, China has been subject to retrogression since 2015, and it's a very, very long wait in China now for EB-5. But Vietnam just retrogressed, I believe it was in April, and because Vietnam is retrogressing now for the first time, they are technically behind all the Chinese investors under a first-in, first-out theory. Okay, so people think, oh, well, does that mean that Vietnamese investors have to wait as long as the Chinese investors do? And the answer to that, I'm happy to say, is no. So every fiscal year, and the US government's fiscal year starts on October 1st, and new 10,000 numbers come out. Now currently, the line for Chinese investors is maybe 10,000 people long. It's a very long line. For Vietnam, it's much, much shorter. Let's say maybe 1,000 people. Okay? But both China and Vietnam will, on October 1st, get 700 numbers allocated to them for sure. They may get more later, but they'll definitely get 700. So that means that the impact of 700 numbers on the Vietnamese line is going to be significant, right? It's more than perhaps half the number of people waiting in line. For China, it'll have very little effect. So we expect that the priority date for Vietnam is going to advance significantly further than China. We don't know exactly by how much yet. We're estimating that the wait will probably be 3, 4, or 5 years. But the key is that the sooner an individual invests, the sooner they get in line, the better their position in line. So that coupled with a potential increase in the investment amount in September, I think makes for a very potentially good EB-5 market leading up to September 30th. So that's it for my presentation. I hope you found it informative. I'll be around during dinner to answer any questions you might have about EB-5 or immigration in general.
Thank you very much, Nikolai, for the wonderful presentation. Very informative.